Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Katha Yogam, where we unravel the epic saga of the Mahabharata, one fascinating story at a time. In our previous episode, we left Pandu and Kunti basking in the joy of their marriage and their life together in Hastinapur. But as we all know, life is never without its challenges. Today, we delve into a tale that marks a turning point in Pandu's destiny, a story of ambition, error, and a tragic curse that threatens the very future of the Kuru dynasty. Let's begin. Please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and support us. This will help us bring more fascinating content from the treasure trove of Indian epics to you. The great sage Vaishampayana continued narrating the Mahabharata to King Janamejaya and the attentive audience. When Pandu and Kunti returned to Hastinapur after their Swayamvara, the entire kingdom erupted in celebration. The streets buzzed with joy, and the people warmly welcomed their beloved king and his bride. Pandu and Kunti shared a deep love, and their days were filled with happiness and harmony. But destiny had other plans. During one of his many military campaigns to expand the Kuru dynasty's influence, Pandu came across Princess Madri of the Madra kingdom. Her beauty and elegance left him spellbound. Pandu sought her hand in marriage from her brother Shalya, who gladly gave his blessings. Pandu brought Madri to Hastinapur as his second wife. Kunti, though surprised and perhaps hurt at first, showed grace and strength. She accepted Madri into their home with dignity, fulfilling her role as the eldest queen. Pandu's life seemed perfect. With two loyal wives by his side, he focused on his kingly duties. He conquered rival kingdoms, brought great wealth to Hastinapur, and always showed humility. Out of respect, he dedicated all his victories and treasures to his elder brother Dhritarashtra, earning the admiration of the entire kingdom. Back in the palace, Vidura, the wise and just advisor, married the daughter of King Devaka, further strengthening the family ties of the Kuru dynasty. Bhishma, who had carried the heavy responsibility of safeguarding the kingdom for so long, finally felt a sense of relief. With Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura all happily settled, the future of Hastinapur seemed bright and secure. As time went on, Pandu decided to go on a long hunting trip in the lush forests near the Himalayas. Hunting was more than just his royal duty. It was his passion. Taking Kunti and Madri along, he planned to balance his kingly responsibilities with some peace in the lap of nature. One fateful day, Pandu wandered deep into the woods. Hours passed without spotting any prey, and frustration began to creep in. The forest seemed strangely quiet and empty. Just when his hope was fading, he spotted a pair of deer in an intimate moment. Without thinking, he quickly drew his bow and released his arrows. The arrow struck true, but what happened next was shocking. The deer transformed into a sage and his wife, both bravely wounded. The wife died instantly, while the sage lay on the ground, struggling for breath. Pandu, horrified and filled with regret, rushed to the fallen sage. With pain and sorrow in his voice, the sage asked Pandu why he had attacked them during such a private moment. He reminded Pandu that it was against Dharma to harm creatures that were pregnant, injured, or mating. Pandu, still grappling with his irritation and guilt, tried to justify his actions, claiming ignorance of any wrongdoing. But the sage, seeing Pandu's reluctance to fully admit his mistake, cursed him with a terrible fate. If Pandu ever embraced his wife with desire, he would die instantly, and the wife he embraced would also die with him. The curse shattered Pandu's spirit. Realizing the enormity of his mistake, he fell to his knees, begging for forgiveness. But it was too late. The sage had already taken his last breath. Devastated by what had happened, Pandu returned to his wives and shared the tragic events. Racked with guilt and shame, he decided to give up his throne and live a life of penance in the forest. Kunti and Madri, though heartbroken, refused to leave his side. They chose to stay with him, sharing his sorrow and exile. In the peaceful wilderness, Pandu devoted himself to meditation, hoping to atone for his sins. He spent his days in prayer and deep reflection. Yet, one thought weighed heavily on him: his inability to have children. As a king, securing heirs to continue the family's lineage was his sacred duty. When Pandu met wandering sages, they warned him that a man who failed to leave behind descendants could not attain heaven. Determined to fulfill his responsibility, Pandu spoke to Kunti about the ancient practice of Niyoga, where a virtuous sage could father children on behalf of a husband unable to do so. Kunti was deeply troubled by the idea. Her love and dignity resisted it. But Pandu, desperate to secure the future of the Kuru dynasty, pleaded with her to consider this noble solution. It was then that Kunti revealed a secret she had kept hidden for years. Long ago, sage Durvasa had granted her a boon that allowed her to summon any celestial being to father a child. Pandu's hope was rekindled. He urged her to use the boon, and with his blessing, Kunti called upon the god of justice, Dharma. From this divine union, Yudhishthira was born, a child destined to uphold truth and righteousness. Yudhishthira would grow to become a beacon of Dharma, a shining example of virtue in a world often engulfed in turmoil. His reign as king would be celebrated far and wide, and he would be known as the most respected and powerful monarch of his time, a symbol of justice and wisdom for generations to come. News of Yudhishthira's birth spread to Hastinapur, bringing joy and celebration to the kingdom. However, not everyone shared in this happiness. Gandhari, who had been carrying her child for 2 long years, was overcome with frustration and sorrow. The thought of Kunti's son being born first and potentially inheriting the throne filled her with jealousy and despair. Driven by these emotions, Gandhari made a sudden and shocking decision that left the palace in turmoil. What did Gandhari do, and how will her actions change the fate of the Kuru dynasty? Stay tuned to Katha Yogam as the drama unfolds. See you in the next episode. If you appreciate our work, please like and share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we upload a new episode.